So this takes us to the important question, right? We are talking about previous messengers, prophets. We're talking about Jesus, talking about the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. What is the prophetic message? What is the message? What is the message that we want to share with people? What is that message? CJ, I think that, again, we'll start with you. What is the message that we want to share with people? What is the prophetic message?
To worship God and God alone. To get away from the idols. They're new idols, but they're still idols nonetheless. Like we if we came across someone who was worshiping a wood carving, we would mock them. No matter the faith, we would mock them. We would make fun of them. You know,
We
Muhammad
meaning
came to take us
societally.
away.
Hold on,
Yeah,
CJ.
yeah,
I'm saying.
society. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me clarify. I don't mean just Muslims. I mean all civilized, air quotes, all civilized society would mock this, and with a very large portion of is doing exactly that, just in a different form. And there's more idols out there than just the Christians taking the prophet Jesus as idols. There's a lot more out there. The message is to come home to God.
Mm. Adam, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, yeah, I think the message was the unity of God. Everything that God is one, and
That's I think that I'll add a little bit about that, inshallah. Afwan. I'll add a little bit to that and say that the Old Testament, you guys, I'm not disagreeing, 100%. That is the message. The message is La ilaha illallah. There is no God other than the one true God. That is the message. But there's a second part to that, right? So there is a second part to that. And the second part is that the prophetic message is that we establish, protect, and perfect our relationship with God, right? Who is absolutely one, without partner or equal, and that we establish, protect, and perfect our relationship with the creation. That we are khulafa fil ard, that we are vicegerents in the earth, to where we take care of humanity. We take care of the earth itself. We take care of ourselves as well. And so, again, we read in the Quran again and again, "Alladina amanu wa amilu salihat," those who believe and do righteous good deeds. Those who believe and do righteous good deeds. And the Prophet he was asked, tell me something about Islam. I'll never have to ask anybody else. And he said, Kul amantu billah thumma istaqim. Say, I believe in God and then be upright. Right? And when Jesus, according to the Gospel of Matthew, when Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment? He said, he was asked, what is the first commandment? He said, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. And that's what we find in Exodus. But they asked him, he was on trial. They were trying to find him guilty of blasphemy. So they said, What's the greatest commandment? He said, Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. They said, Okay, we can't do anything. What's the second greatest commandment? He said, Love for your neighbor what you love for yourself. He said, All the other rules and regulations, all the other commands hang on these two. That's the prophetic message. That's what we're calling people to. Establish, protect, and perfect your relationship with God. Know that He is one, without partner, without equal, and then establish, protect, and perfect your relationship with humanity. How do we do that? By following the guidance sent by God through His prophets and messengers. Um, uh, Add to that.
No, that sounds about right.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Uh, so I do want to touch on one thing too, is that we have to understand where the idols come from, right? So in the story of Abraham, Abraham first, his uncle, which is called his father, we won't get into that. It's really because the uncle takes the place of the father. But he was an idol maker. He carved idols out of wood and stone. And so the very first people that Abraham encountered was people who worship idols made out of material objects, right? Today you find people worshiping money, right? And they bow down to it, they sacrifice for it, and so forth and so on. They pray to the almighty dollar. We find this, right? So then the second people he encountered were people who they saw the evening star, the Venus. It's Venus, really. But they saw the evening star and they worshiped that. And he said, I don't worship that which goes away. And then, the celestial bodies, the moon, the sun. He said, I don't worship that which goes away. And so the first is people who worship things that are made from the hands of man, like we make it ourselves out of wood, out of stone, out of paper, whatever. The second is celestial bodies or natural phenomena. And so this is where people really attack the concept of God a lot of times, and they'll say, well, human beings were afraid of lightning, so they made a god of lightning, or they wanted a good harvest, so they made a god of the harvest. So people did, in fact, worship the spirit of this and the spirit of that and these natural phenomena and things like that. And even today, you'll find people who worship energy, right? They'll say, oh, the universe, oh, karma. And so they have this concept that, the law of attraction and these things. And so they actually pray through the law of attraction and different things like that. So they give natural phenomena deification. And then the last is that he went to the king, and the king said, I am God. And he said, no, God is the one who causes life and death. And the king said, well, brought two prisoners, freed one and had the other one executed, and said, see, I give life and I give death. And so Abraham said, God is the one who causes the sun to rise from the east. You cause it to rise from the west. And he silenced them. So this is the third, is when we take human beings as deities. And this is a lot of times what people do with their rulers and today, athletes and musicians and the like. So the three types of deity, everything that you can find people worshiping other than God is either going to be things they humans make with their own hands, or celestial bodies, natural phenomena, or other human beings, jinn or the like. And so this we have to understand that is that whatever deities a person, and what we find again and again is that people constantly try to make God in their own image, right? They want God to be like them. They want God to resemble them. And this is another issue. So, I mean, what do you guys, I'll open this because I don't, again, I want it to be a discussion. What are your thoughts on the current state of religion, of faith in our land,
I think we got it back, not specifically us, but I think the Western world has it backwards. I think there's this idea that God is supposed to be there to serve us and not us to serve the Lord. I
Yeah,
truly
no,
believe that.
I
I
agree.
believe it because we're not taught to be thankful so much. We're taught to pray for what we want, what we need, but we're not necessarily taught to be just thankful for what we have. I mean, it's said, but it's not really pushed. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I mean, I'll add to that and say that the propaganda all around us, the propaganda in the media, the propaganda in the movies, television, music is want more, want more, want more, buy more, and you'll be happy. And so
Yeah,
there's this call for hedonism, or materialism, and wants and desire. This is the propaganda of today, honestly, in our society.
yeah. Wise man said, if money is what makes you happy, money is unlimited, so you'll never truly be happy.
Mm.
I paraphrase for Bob Marley right there, but it's the truth with material. If you're chasing materialistic things, there's always going to be the next new thing.
Always. Adam, you want to add to that?
I think the state of our nation is with religion is really kind of just completely turned away from religion, kind of like what I said earlier. Even Christians only go on Sunday a lot of the time. And I think what has happened is it's really turned into, our nation has turned religion into really religion of the self, worshiping yourself, making yourself happy, give me, give me, give me, you know,
Yeah, the religion of man.
yeah.
I like to say America is in a dark age, right?
Oh,
We are living in a dark age, and people, give me a little flack about that. But I honestly think if we look at the state of the depression, the addiction, the gloom, the fear mongering, the mass violence in our streets. You know, all of these things, that the discord, the general discord. I think all of this is a byproduct of this. What you had mentioned, that people have really, in a lot of ways, turned away from faith. And honestly, I think that the propaganda in the education system and in our society is that faith is backwards. You know, I think that this is a real problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, people
yeah, I
worship,
agree.
the science and themselves.
You know, subhanallah.
Smart dumb people.